Welcome to Chaps Out Culture, where my guests return to recommend LGBTQ plus culture that helped shape and inspire them. I'm joined again by my Chaps Out guest. Elliot, please tell me, what have you got in store for us?
Queer as Folk by Russell T Davies. It's about three gay men living in and around Manchester, and particularly the Manchester Canal Street. Came out when I was about 15, 16, and Nathan as well. One of the main characters is that same age. It was quite a massive influence on me. I used to sneakily watch it in my parents' bedroom, so that no one would know I was watching it. But even like my friends, they loved this series, straight friends as well, because it just really opened up their minds to gay people, but also sex and things like that, and the things that can be involved in gay sex. Also, then for me, like years later, I would then go on to party in Manchester and Canal Street quite a lot myself. So I used to live out my queer as folk fantasy a little bit on that aspect. I also really loved the character Hazel in it, who was played by Denise Black, I think her name is, and she was famous for playing Denise on Coronation Street. The reason why I loved her character as well was because she was like almost the mother of the group, and she was supportive, open-minded, but also a bit of a free spirit herself, so loved to drink and a party.
Yeah.
But I also loved her character because she was like a safe haven for the other characters, which was rare to see that parental acceptance at that time. Also, she like represents all those mothers of our chosen families. So we use the term mother quite a lot in the queer community as well. Particularly in like you hear it in drag houses and things like that. But yeah, she's a total role model for me because I don't know, one of my friends calls me mother sometimes as well. So I quite like that aspect of that acceptance and creating a safe haven. So yeah, that was my
Yeah.
first one. Also, when I was younger as well, I had a big crush on an actor called Gael Garcia Bernal. He is stunning. But also, I think the first film I saw him in was called Y Tu Mamá También, and it was set in Mexico about two best friends on like a road trip with an older lady. And initially, they're all like just playing around, but then gradually, this trip really gets them to, realize they've got some hidden feelings for each other as well. So, very much like that teenage kind of like what do they call it? Maybe coming out, but also that exploration kind of story. Gael Garcia Bernal, he also introduced me to films to like by Pedro Almodovar because he was in one called Bad Education, which has that kind of layered aspect of childhood trauma, but with it's set in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So it's kind of like he plays like multiple characters. Well, I think it's the same character, but multiple stages of their life. And yeah, it's a really good film. It is a bit dark, but at the same time, it was quite impactful to me. I'd say then Pedro Almodovar as well. He can really camp and silly in some of his films. So like he did one called I'm So Excited, and it's set entirely on a plane from Spain to Mexico City, and all the passengers face this possibility of death. Like I think it is that they might crash. I can't remember now, but they all start sharing scandalous secrets and they all start behaving scandalously as well. So, like maybe drinking more or doing all sorts of things. And then there's lip syncing routines in it and all sorts where the crew are all singing along to songs. So, yeah, it's very silly, but I love things like that sometimes. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. It's one of my favorite films I can just watch multiple times. It's got a great soundtrack, but it's also like got great lines in it. Like, great, that's just what this country needs: a cock in a frock on a rock. And there's so many like put downs and all sorts in it. It's brilliant. But I'd say my final one is a newer one, and it's Andrew Scott and Paul Mescal, and it's the All of Us Strangers film.
Right.
This one's really powerful because it's not got a massive cast. It's got Jamie Bell in it as well and Claire Foy, and they play Andrew Scott's parents, the character Andrew Scott's parents. Basically, Andrew Scott's character is a lonely kind of writer, and he kind of makes a friendship or relationship with his neighbor. And then also he keeps on like having these circumstances where he's talking to his parents when they were younger, but talking about his life and what's happened in his life. It's really emotional. And it really affected me mainly because of the conversations that he was having with his family. It was almost like he was having conversations that he didn't manage to have when he was younger, but as an adult man and saying, "Look, I'm all right. Look at my life now," type thing. And I think art like this is so important because you might not have the opportunity to have these conversations yourself with your family or your parents, but actually what it did is it made me almost kind of be able to live through that a bit, and you can kind of think on it. And I think we've talked before is there can be power in just actually having a conversation like that with yourself.
Mm,
They're almost like you can speak out loud, like pretending like you're speaking to that person, but by
yeah.
doing it out loud yourself, it can have such power and such healing properties anyway. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. Obviously, have some tissues ready because it's very sad, but at the same time, yeah, a very powerful piece of work. That
Yeah, those sorts of pieces of art are really, really
yeah,
interesting. It definitely looks like something I would love. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that one out. Brilliant.
yeah, but
Yeah.
definitely have those mixtures of the fun ones as well because yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of fun films and things to see out there as well.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Elliot, for coming on and sharing those recommendations with me. Definitely going to check those out. So it's been lovely talking to you today. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
And yeah, wish you well.
You too.
That's the list. Thanks to Elliot for those recommendations. Loads to check out there. If you enjoyed this episode of Chaps Out Culture, please subscribe or follow wherever you listen. Give us a 5-star rating and share to help the podcast reach anyone who may need to hear it. And if you missed it, don't forget to check out the full interview with Elliot on the main episode of Chaps Out. See you next time.